How to hang your Gaulan wallpaper on the wall. Tools you'll need. For measuring, tape measure, pencil, and metal ruler. For cutting, utility knife, plastic spatula, and scissors. For applying adhesive, wallpaper paste brush, small brush, and paint roller. For pasting, bucket, stirring brush, and ready-to-use paste or powdered paste. For hanging the wallpaper, smoothing brush, plumb line or laser, and soft sponge. Getting the paste ready. If you're using ready-to-use paste, no preparation is required, but if you're using powdered paste, some preparation is needed. How to prepare powdered paste. Before you start mixing, read the manufacturer's instructions carefully to work out the right water to powder proportions, depending on the type of wallpaper. Fill a round bucket with warm water and stir vigorously to create a whirlpool with the help of a brush. Keep stirring the water as you slowly and steadily pour in the powder. This process shouldn't take more than 15 seconds. Once you've mixed the paste, stir for another minute and wait 10 to 15 minutes before using it. Ready! Measuring and cutting. Use a table to measure and cut your wallpaper strips. We don't recommend cutting the strips directly on the wall as they may get damaged. Measure the lengths of your wall and your table. We'll show you how to use the table to measure and cut. In the example, our wall is 2 meters and 75 centimeters high, and our table is 1 meter and 80 centimeters long. Since the table's length is less than the wall's height, we measure the wallpaper in 2 parts. First, 1 meter and 80 centimeters. Then, we add 95 centimeters more. These 2 measurements add up to the height of the wall, 2 meters and 75 centimeters. Mark this measurement on your table and add an extra 5 centimeters for safety. You'll also need an extra 5 centimeters of wallpaper at the top end in case the ceiling isn't perfectly straight. To do this, with the wallpaper laid out on the table, slide the top end of the wallpaper so it hangs over the table by 5 centimeters. Then, use a pencil to draw a line parallel to the edge of the table on the wallpaper. This will help you when hanging the wallpaper and ensure you don't run short. Unroll and stretch out the wallpaper towards the other end of the table, keeping it in place with a clip or a heavy object. Fold the wallpaper without creasing the fold and continue unrolling until you reach the mark you previously made on the table. Then, fold the wallpaper at the mark you made on the table. Press this fold to create a guideline, then cut the wallpaper with scissors. There you go, your first strip is ready. Remember, we've used a specific table and wall for these measurements. You'll need to adjust these instructions according to your wall and table. Check that your first strip is equal to the height of your wall plus an extra 10 centimeters for safety. Important, the patterns should match, so make sure you pay attention to the design before cutting your next strips. Also, check the manufacturer's hanging instructions. For the second strip, take the wallpaper to the table and align it with the pattern at the joints of the first strip. Without moving the wallpaper, make a guide mark with the pencil on the wallpaper, right at the edge of the table. Then, slide it over the first strip. It doesn't matter if there's a bit of wallpaper overhanging at the top. Use the clip or wait again to keep it in place. Next, cut with scissors and your second strip will be ready. For the following strips, repeat the previous process. Now with the strips prepared, you can cut off the excess as follows. Remove the clip, but before you do, put something heavy on the table to prevent the strips from moving. To ensure all strips include the safety centimeters at the top end, firmly hold all the strips at once and slide the paper until the first strip we cut is at the edge of the table. With the help of a ruler, draw a straight line on the last strip guided by the edge of the table and cut off the excess with scissors. Pasting the wallpaper. Depending on our paper's backing, we need to either apply paste to the wall or the paper. Check the paper label to know where to apply the paste. If the paste goes on the wall, You'll need to apply the adhesive to the wall using a roller and a small brush for the corners. If the paste goes on the wallpaper, flip the strips you previously cut on the table and carefully roll them into a tube, making sure not to crease or damage the paper during this process. This tube form makes it easier to flip the paper strips on the table without damaging them. To prevent the paper strips from sliding on the table, place the container with the prepared paste on top. If you don't want to stain the table, you can put down a protective plastic sheet. If you don't have one, use the lower strips and place them to protect the table from the paste. With a large brush, spread the adhesive from the center to the edges of the wallpaper. When you've applied the paste to the first half, carefully fold the strip onto itself. Warning: don't press the folds. Fold the rest of the pasted part onto itself and continue with the application. Repeat the previous process with the other part and let the paper rest for 5 to 10 minutes. Don't forget which end of the strip is the top. 5 or 10 minutes later, the paste has had enough time to rest on the paper and could now be hung on the wall. Wallpaper hanging. Draw a straight line with a bubble level, plumb line or self-leveling laser. Remove all outlet covers and light switches with a screwdriver. Hold the first strip of paper at the top end and align the guiding line with the junction between the ceiling and the wall. It should also be straight, following the line of our laser level, plumb line or bubble level. Carefully unfold the second folded part of the strip until it's fully extended. Using a flexible wallpaper brush, start smoothing the paper. Trim the excess off with a utility knife or blade. You can wait until it's completely dry to make cutting easier. Be extra careful not to damage painted surfaces that won't be papered. Repeat the process with the rest of the strips, making sure the patterns match. Pay attention to the pattern and ensure it matches before smoothing all the paper, in case you need to shift or reposition. If you see there's not enough paste at the edges, apply a bit more with the brush and press gently. With a slightly damp sponge, clean any excess paste from the ceiling, wall, and wallpaper seams. Immediately after, dry with a clean, dry cloth. Once you reach the end of the wall, measure the remaining surface to be covered. In our case, it was 12 centimeters. Add a few extra centimeters to those 12 and draw a line with a pencil and ruler, then cut with scissors. Finish by placing the strip and cutting off the excess. And there you have it. Your wallpaper is hung.